Let's do it, man. Let's talk 49er football with one of the greats. He's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. 5-time All-Pro. That's a big deal. He's on the All-2010s team. You heard he was the Defensive Rookie of the Year, 7 Pro Bowls. He's number 52, man. Patrick Willis on the UMA guest line. Patrick, it is always great to have you, man. Good morning. Welcome to Murph and Markus. How are you, buddy?
Hey, what's up, Patrick?
Hey, doing wonderful. Thank you all for having me. Glad to be on.
Oh, it's so good. Niners, Seahawks. Now, a year and change ago, I was with you and a crew up at Whetstone Winery watching the 49ers beat the Seahawks in Seattle. And now here we are talking 49ers Seattle all over again. So, Patrick, we know they can win in Seattle. Is that your attitude going into this thing? I mean, I know they're 7-point underdogs. I know there's no George Kittle. There's no Nick Bosa. There's no Fred Warner. Can the 49ers win this game on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, it's no question that the guys that are out for the season are going to be missed. And man, had they had all their guys, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. It'd be how much they're going to win by. But with that being said, it's not going to be an easy game. But I think these guys could find a way to make enough plays to come out with the victory. But like I said, it's not going to be easy, and they're going to have to almost be perfect.
Patrick, we saw what happened in Santa Clara a couple weeks ago. So I'd like to ask you from a player perspective, when you're seeing that you're going to play this same team just 2 weeks later, does that kind of give you the itch to make the adjustments and get some of your revenge? Or how do you think that matchup plays out with who has the adjustments from making adjustments from that game?
Yeah, they always say it's hard to be someone, twice in a row like that, and so I think for this game right here that they're going to really buckle down and they just played each other, so it's fresh. It ain't like they got to go and do a whole new scouting. They know what it's going to be, and it really is going to come down to who won it most for 4 quarters, and a mano on a mano.
Yeah, for sure, man. Sometimes it's just who makes the play, as you mentioned, too. Now, about playing in Seattle in a game like this, you've done it. You've been up there. We had your buddy Frank Gore on, and we talked about it. And he said, I asked him, how'd you guys even, stay in that game to overcome that noise? And he's like, we knew who we were. Tell us about, what it's like to be in that environment. How hard is it? How much do the 49ers have to dig deep to overcome that environment, that noise? You've done it. What's it like?
Yeah, I mean, it's an environment. With that environment up there, I must say I don't like nothing about it other than just competing and playing football. And most definitely, Frank hit it on the head. We know who we were as a football team. And this team is going to come. The 49ers are going to have to go up there this year and really just understand that, listen, we've been through a lot, but we have who we have in this room, and we just got to go out there and lay it all on the line and let the chips lay where it may. And I always say this: if you go out and you give it everything you got, you give your best shot, and the next person still takes it, then daggone, that means we're going to have to find a way to dust ourselves off, and we'll meet again next year. But, with that being said, I think these guys, like I said, their offense is, man, they're a powerful offense when they're clicking. And I have faith that those guys are going to do what they need to do to get that offense going. And then I feel like the defense, all year long, they've had the, next man up mentality, bend but don't break. And as it will come to this game, man, you just got to go out there and make enough plays and make the plays that you have to make when you need to make it.
Yeah, it will be next man up against this weekend after we got the news yesterday that Fred Warner will not make his return Saturday night up in Seattle with the possibility of maybe playing in the NFC Championship game. But, Patrick, we got to ask you about the job that Eric Kendrick and both Garrett Wallow did last week after playing 50% of the snaps Week 18 against Seattle. How impressive is it for these two guys to step in when they weren't even on the roster 2 months ago?
Yeah, shout out to those guys. I mean, first, shout out to Coach Sala and the linebacker coaches, Coach Holland and Coach KJ Wright, for having those guys right. And then kudos to those guys for just being professionals. And really, I just feel like it was the right fit. But those guys went out there and they played well together. They communicated and they played for 60 minutes all out. And it's going to have to take that again. I know everybody was possibly looking for Fred to come back this game, but hopefully they take care of business. Now, he could possibly be back for the NFC championship game. So really, I mean, those guys are going to have to come back and just really back it up again. As we know, it's not so much about what you did last week. It's all about what you've done today. And so I got faith in those guys. They're great guys, and I feel like they're going to go out and play some good football. But, we shall see.
What about, you mentioned Fred Warner. I want your opinion of just what you saw from him, going down, and then his attitude in his rehab, and then, man, all the way up through this week where he just looked fantastic on the practice field. Now, the Niners did rule him out. They said he's not going to play. I'd love your opinion on all that. It's a huge injury, 3 months. His attitude seems to be great. I know you're not inside his body, so you can't predict how his ankle feels, but just what have you witnessed from Fred and your view of his return to the practice field that fast?
Yeah, man, I've just, I've been a fan of Fred since he's been here at the Niners. I mean, just seeing what he's done at the linebacker position, one of the best in the world. And it was unfortunate to see him go down with that injury because I feel like he was starting to campaign for his defensive player of the year, the way he was out there balling, and, that happened in Tampa. But, man, to see how Fred has handled this rehab, I mean, he's been in there since the moment they said, like, hey, you can get back in the facility, and he's been rehabbing his tail off. And I was going to say, man, prayers to him, shout out to him, and just he's a great person, great teammate, and just an all-out competitor. So I don't say it surprised me that he's where he is, but it's not surprising because if you just know him, you see how he works, you see what the game means to him, you see how he stayed locked in, and that was one of the things I mentioned to some of the guys who had some of the injuries. I was like, listen, just stay locked in. I know you may not be around or whatnot, but just stay locked in, and that's something I didn't have to, even say to him. That's just natural. So he's superhuman, all pro Fred, and like I say, I regardless of whatever he chooses to do, I support him. But yeah, man, he's one heck of a guy.
Even without Fred playing this weekend, Patrick, it felt like him just getting back on the practice field really gave this team some juice and some energy. He's going to be flying out with the team to Seattle. So how much of an impact do you think just his presence alone on the sideline can maybe have on this defense?
Yeah, I mean, just his presence alone. I mean, those guys have a tremendous respect for Fred and what he's brought and what he continues to bring, and just being the captain. Man, I would say, man, anytime, I know what it felt like at times when you didn't have some of your guys, some of your key guys and captain guys at times or whatnot, and you could feel it, and you can feel when they come back into the lineup, whether it's for that game or whether it's for practice, and you're like, I sure miss you, man. So to have him back around in the way that he is and just being so close, I'm sure those guys are feeding off of it, and they want to go out there and win this weekend so they can give him the chance to get back and be who he is and possibly, go get a championship. But one game at a time. I know he's going to be supporting those guys to go, win this game this weekend so that he can have that opportunity to get back out there with his teammates and be the superhero he is.
Man, when you think about this 49er linebacker legacy of the last 10, 15 years, you and NaVorro handing the baton to Fred Warner, it's just pretty darn awesome, man. By the way, speaking of which, I don't know how much you're in touch with your old buddy NaVorro, but I'm sure you do know, his son is one of the top high school basketball players in the nation. And I saw NaVorro's going to step aside and be closer to him. Do you know much about that?
I did actually. It was ironic that I just happened to reach out and text. We text here and there, time to time, and just checking in on one another. And I was like, man, they did just lose the game. I said, man, let me just reach out and just, congratulate them on, completing another season. And just, unfortunate they lost. I was rooting for those guys to, go into the next round. But he had mentioned that, he said, yeah, I'm not going to be stepping away to, help focus on Junior's path and everything. And it made me smile because I remember NaVorro Jr. and just he was just a little one, man, all those years ago. And so to see him now, be making his own path and, become the athlete that he is pretty special. And so, I'm rooting for NaVorro Jr., rooting for NaVorro. And I know he I'm happy he has someone like his father to be able to help navigate him in these times of how the sports world is, especially, you know, the NIL world and just coming out of high school. So just praying for those guys that they, you know, have an amazing pursuit, that he has an amazing pursuit in helping his son. But, yeah, shout out to NaVorro Jr. and keep balling. Remember, as I always have said, stay humble but hungry.
So cool, man. Yeah, he's a stud. Everybody should keep an eye on him, yeah.
Patrick Willis is a voice you hear this morning on the UMA guest line ahead of the 49ers matchup on Saturday against the Seahawks. And Patrick, in both matchups earlier this season, we've seen Robert Saleh's defense hold Sam Darnold and the Seattle offense to only 13 points per game. But we also saw how successful they were running the rock in Week 18. So what do you think is the biggest key for Robert Saleh and the defense this weekend to slow down that Seattle offense?
Yeah, really, man, it's going to be, like I said, it's not going to be easy at all, especially going there and playing at home. But I really feel that, you know, if the offense can get some rhythm, that's really going to help that defense, you know, not have to take most of the load. But really, they just going to play complementary football and just understand what's all at stake. And really, just as I think about it, it's really going to come down to discipline and the discipline in the details, discipline in doing what you know you're supposed to do and doing it at a high level and plus more. And again, they have done a great job all year just being greedy and keeping the fight. And all you can ask at the end of the day is when you turn on the film, you see for 4 quarters your team getting after it, and regardless of what happens, I believe you can live with it. So again, I think they're going to have to play. They're going to have to play complementary football in all phases. And really, I don't like using the word perfect, but they almost going to have to be perfect. And/or Seattle is going to have to be on their game, but they got all their guys. But so for us, I think it's really just going to come down to the defense, just coming out and just being relentless and just fighting and just. Yeah, I don't even have the word.
Yeah,
Sometimes
no,
you try to
yeah.
think the word, and it's like, man, really, these guys show up. These guys show up and put the pads on and let's go. And made the best team.
I love the way you're saying that, because that's the way I feel about this Niner team. Like, they have that culture in them, going to Philly and doing it and overcoming all these injuries and doing it. That's why I have them winning a close game, because I just feel like their culture and their intensity is there. So I feel what you're saying, man. They're going to be, and what Frank and you said about being in Seattle in 2013 and coming so close and knowing that, I was like, man, how did you guys overcome that great team and get to that 5-yard line? You're like, you just knew who you were. I hate to even bring it up, Patrick. We just all got to go through it together, man. If you could do anything all over again in 2013 NFC Championship, how would we change it? What could we do different?
Man, one would be that NaVorro injury not happening.
Yeah.
That was just a freakish, just how it happened and whatnot. It's like, wow, this way, and it wasn't. I don't say it wasn't anything catastrophic in how it happened. It's just how it happened. It didn't. Yeah, it was just unfortunate. So take that away, and then. Man, maybe a few plays I could have made better in that game, or could have made or should have made in that game that would have, helped us, win that. But all in all, we just, as a team, we didn't get the dub, and so that sucks, because I feel like we had the team to do that. But it was kind of where it is right now. Like, both teams are as good in the conference. Physical, and it could go to any one team, and so really just got to come out and be perfect, man, and be on P's and Q's.
Well, I was setting it up maybe because I was going to transition to the Hall of Fame, which you're in. 2 years ago, you got that knock from BY. It was so emotional. And there's a guy who's nominated. Well, there's one from the senior committee, Roger Craig, we can talk about. But there's another guy, your teammate is nominated in the final 15, Frank Gore. And we talked about Frank earlier in the conversation, and I was thinking maybe we could have given him the ball too, right?
Wait. Is are you talking about the Super Bowl or are you talking about the NFC Championship?
Well, actually, both. Couldn't they have given it to him? A Super Bowl too. Yeah, a Super Bowl too. But they didn't.
Yeah,
We're talking about both
yeah,
times. So both times.
Hey, you know what, man? You daggone skippy. I don't remember the per se play in the Seattle. I just know that I just remember the pass and seeing it be tipped and
Yeah.
and seeing him catch it, and I just like, God, dang, you gotta be kidding.
But for sure the Super Bowl though, right?
Yeah. Oh man, for sure the Super Bowl. I mean, that was one of the ones where you got the best slash power runner in the National Football game, and I thought our offensive line was just ready to just walk it in, and we don't get it done. And so again, it's just when you got opportunities like those, you gotta seize it. And but all of that to say, shout out to the legendary Inconvenience Truth, Frank Gore. From day one, man, Frank was one of those teammates that you just wanted to be at your very best so that you could be a cool teammate with him and like him or whatnot. And so it was just an honor to play, the 8 years I did with him, to see one of the best competitors, football players, and running backs to play this game, ultimately, and seeing that he's number 3 now all the time, and just going through everything he's been through. And so, man, I'm rooting for Frank. He don't like to talk about it too much because we don't want to jinx or anything of that nature. But, as I've said when it came to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, I was very honored to just, to be nominated, when I was on the first ballot. But to have, to be just nominated and let alone to make it in. So, but his time is coming, and whenever it's supposed to be, it will. And so, again, just shout out to Frank and just all the teammates who helped him, become who he became. So, good luck, Frank.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Patrick, on the topic of closing out games, my last question is on the quarterback matchup between Brock Purdy and Sam Darnold. We've never seen Sam Darnold win a playoff game. Meanwhile, Brock Purdy 5-2 and just completed his fourth quarter comeback of his playoff career. How much confidence does that give a defense knowing that you have a quarterback on the other side that can close out a game in the fourth quarter?
Yeah. I mean, man, Brock Purdy, I call it Purdy magic. So he got the Lord and he got some of that magic on his side, but Purdy is a competitor. Sam Darnold, obviously he's been what he's been for them, but my focus and I'm gonna ride with Purdy. He just has that it factor about him, and he's a competitor. He reminds me of a basketball AI where you might have a play there that's not as good, but he's gonna come back and as if it never happened. So I think for him, man, he's gonna come out and he's gonna be bright, and I feel like they protect for him and give him some time or whatnot. Like he really can do something special. So yeah, man, I'm a Purdy fan. Man. I'm a Purdy fan. I know he's gonna have that offense going, but again, it's just one of the things that they can just get that rhythm, find the rhythm, and really just fight for 60 minutes. They got some unique players on that offensive side, and Chris and C-Mac, and unfortunately, shout out to prayers for George as he goes, through his Achilles surgery and getting better. But man, I know, having Trent back out there, I believe Pearsall is going to be up, and he's a difference maker, himself when he's out there and he's feeling good. So man, it's gonna be one of those games that again they're going to come out and be on the P's and Q's and really be damn near perfect. But perfect.
So good, man. It's listen, like you said, it's who makes the play, who becomes the legend, and you guys did it, of course, down in Atlanta. You guys came back from behind and made it to the Super Bowl and did so many great things during your time, got to the Hall of Fame, and we'll see who does it on Saturday, man. We'll see who does it. Somebody's going to step up and somebody's going to make a great play, and it's awesome. And listen, we hope somebody joins you, either Roger Craig or Frank Gore, and it'll be really fun, and it's going to be here. You got a lot of stuff planned for the Super Bowl week? You're going to put on the gold jacket and do some appearances?
Yeah, I do have some appearances. I have a pretty busy week, but I'm really looking forward to meeting all the football fans, especially all the faithful. But yeah, most definitely looking forward to that week. And I didn't realize that you mentioned Roger Craig, but man, shout out to Roger Craig as well. I know he's been one of those guys that has been on the verge for so long, and I mean, I feel like it would be awesome because his peers who he played those years with, a lot of them are in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, so I know that would do his spirit and really just put a stamp on the career that he has. So rooting for Roger as well.
Hey,
so.
Maybe you can go knock on his door like BY did for you.
Hey, you know what? Hey, anytime one of your teammates is doing something spectacular, if I can be a part of it and help bring that much more joy and excitement, then I'm all for it. So,
hey, man, I hope we didn't invade your privacy on that when they filmed it, but that's one of my favorite videos because you guys are two of the greatest Niners of all time, and man, what was it like opening that door and seeing him, huh?
Oh man, I said before it was a full circle moment because BY was actually one of the guys that I don't know if I've said it before, but I haven't I don't say it just a whole lot because it kind of sounds strange when you talking about it. But BY was one of the 3 to 5 guys that I asked in the locker room my rookie year, like, how do you know when it's time to leave? Like, how do you know when it's time to step away from the game? Like, because everything has its beginning and it has its end. Like, how will you know? And he was one of those guys that I remember having that conversation with, and I remember him just looking at me and being like, wow, I think he was going to year 14. He was like, hey, if I had these training camps, I'll probably try to get 2 more. But he said, but really, he's like, really, it just, I don't know how he explained it to me. I really didn't hear the answer I was looking for other than him just saying, like, oh, just take care of your body, get your massages, and all that. And so I just remember looking at him and being like, he got 14. I was like, boy, that feels like a long time. I'm like, maybe I could get around 10 or something like that. I was like, but most importantly, I was like, man, I just want to give you everything I have, and I guess when that time comes, like, I'll know, And so for BY for everything to happen the way that it happened for me, and then a lot of people are like, oh, you didn't play enough years. Is just all the things that they, could say about my, career being, short in their eyes, and maybe in our eyes, but I always say, like, man, the only thing you do in this life is work with what God gives you, and whether that's, 50 years or whether that's, 3, just make sure you gave it everything you had. So I say that to say, for him to be the one to come and, knock on my door, and just the respect that I have for him and just, what he meant to the organization, it was really special. So, shout out to BY. Most important, I was just trying to work to, I'll never forget my rookie year. I was just trying to be what he was to us that last game we had at Candlestick, and I saw them carry BY. I saw Jeff Ulbrich. I saw all the guys just carrying BY off on their shoulders because that was his last game, and how they just rooted for him, and the teammates were just, everybody was just ecstatic. I was like, man, I hope one day when I lead this thing, like, I have that kind of love for my teammates and fans and everything. And so, yeah, just, shout out to legendary Hall of Famer BY, and just, again, the 49ers faithful, teammates and fan base and coaches and organization.
That was an awesome story, man. Thanks for sharing that. Loved it. And now we're ready for the game. So you do it, Patrick.
Yes,
and then we'll see you at We'll catch you on Radio Row at Moscone Center during Super Bowl week or something. But enjoy the hell out of the game tomorrow. Thanks for visiting with Murph and Markus, and be good.
Yeah, thanks, Patrick.
I appreciate it. And I will be on Super Bowl Row. And I can't believe the game is tomorrow. Like, I'm like, it's here.
You better make your plans, buddy.
As I'm packing my bags, to get ready for the trip or not, I'm like, man, he just said to me, man, it really is tomorrow. I'm like, and right now that feeling starting to come back where I'm like, fool, let's go, man. Like, it's like, we gotta win this thing and we go home.
Okay. Hey, buddy, get your pads on. They'll take you. 52,
exactly.
Still up there. All right, be good, Patrick. Take care.
Thanks, Patrick.
All right, likewise. Thank you all for having me.
He's the best. Hall of Famer, Patrick Willis on the Sports Leader.